I think at the end of the day, what people don't realize is that there's so much labor that goes and hours and hours and hours that it takes to throw an event. And so you're really paying for that. Mm-hmm. And you can't do it yourself. Like one person can't do it themselves. Mm-hmm. And so, I think people say, oh, well, you put wedding on the price tag and it goes up. And it's like, I would debate that.
Welcome to Persister with Candace Lowry. I am Candace Lowry. What is a persister? A persister is a little play on words of nevertheless she persisted, but also a woman who has truly broken through that glass ceiling and has really forged a path and a name for herself in whatever business she's in. Persister with Candace Lowry is a CastBox original produced alongside Studio 71. CastBox is the fastest growing, highest rated podcast app on both iOS and Android, where you can find all of your favorite podcasts. You can listen to Persister with Candace Lowry wherever you get your podcasts, but I hope you'll give CastBox a shot because I think it's the best. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Persister with Candace Lowry. I am Candace Lowry, and today I'm very excited because I have Carly Rae with me, who is the owner of Carly Rae Weddings. The owner of Carly Rae Weddings and Primary Petals, which I am fascinated to know more about. And I think today will all be about wedding planning, the do's and don'ts. I'm not engaged, but I'm fascinating. Oh my God. I'm like having a stroke. I'm like fascinated with weddings and planning. And it's just, I feel like more and more it's just a thing now. Like everybody dreams of their wedding and how many Instagram likes they can get. Mm-hmm. So welcome. You are originally from the Pacific Northwest. I'm about to move there, so I might need some offline help as well. Perfect. So let's talk about just how you got started with everything.
Okay. Perfect. Well, I started 8 years ago. I was 22, and I started a Facebook page.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I was like, what the hell is going on? Now I have to do this. But I helped a friend in Oregon, actually. And she's like, yeah, you're my creative friend. You should totally help me with my wedding. Mm-hmm. And then 2 weeks before her wedding, she goes, here's everything. And it was like nothing was done.
Oh, 2 weeks?
Yeah, as far as decor, everything else was done. So I was decoring for literally 2 weeks straight. And at the end of it, I sort of realized helping somebody relieve stress in service was just moving to me. Yeah. And then it was like, I think I could do this. And then kind of in hindsight, looking back in my own life, realizing I was always planning my own parties and being creative in that way. And the hospitality was always something in the forefront, and business was always something. I was like, instead of Barbies, it was store, we're going to cut a ribbon, for my store in my bedroom. So that was awesome. And I think it all kind of came together. Yeah. And then I took an apprenticeship and just interned in LA for 6 months, and then made a Facebook page and just started, jumped. And then,
Yeah, so what brought you to LA?
So I went to school at Vanguard in Costa Mesa, and I studied journalism. Okay. And
how'd that go?
It was cool. Communication, journalism is all, transferable anywhere. Right. So, yeah, I think it just sort of helped me with my life, learning how to communicate and grow and all of that. I don't know.
Yeah. So was this kind of a thing where after you graduated, you were like, I like planning. I like weddings and parties.
Well, okay. So my dad's an entrepreneur. My sister's an entrepreneur. And so it was never this weird, off limits thing, it was just kind of ingrained into my life. Let's start this, you name it, and see where it goes. So being able to jump off cliffs was just something that was sort of, I just watched, I have this idea and let's see it to fruition. So yeah.
So when you get started in an industry like this, I feel like it would be pretty competitive.
Yeah, I think what I found to be true was that people always want like the next best thing. And so it turned out to be relatively seamless as far as getting jobs. In the industry, it's not super regulated. So you can be like, I like planning. And then you build a site and people are like,
oh,
I'll hire you.
Oh, okay.
So I did a lot of styled shoots to start. And so I had just like this portfolio of like non-wedding stuff and then maybe like my friend's wedding. And then, it just sort of snowballed into actually more work. But I had been doing like part-time wedding stuff for 2 years. And then in 2012, incorporated and kind of made the jump to go, okay, this is really happening. And then from there, I was working a temp job at a medical records facility, eating, like, I'm not kidding you, eating Taco Bell every day because I was making like $600 a month.
Oh.
And I just remember thinking, okay, it's August. By December 1st, I want to go full time, which is like a really big thing to say.
Yeah.
And then I said it out loud and then I backpedaled. I was like, just kidding. This is going to take like 6 years. And November 1st, my boss brought me, November 1st, she brought me in. She's like, I'm giving you 4 weeks. We don't need you anymore. And I was like, huh. So you're saying.
Stars are aligning.
Stars are okay. And then I booked 12 weddings that week.
What?
Just like boom, boom, boom.
So I'm going to sound like a total idiot because I've never been through this, but is it like The Bachelor where they interview a bunch of different wedding planners and then like choose who they want based off of that? Or like how does this work?
Like if you get engaged, what's the process?
So if I was going to get married and I was like, I need a wedding planner, do you do like a consultation and then they are like, okay, let's go through with this?
Yeah. Yeah. So most people will request a consultation because what I tell in consultations, if you don't feel in your gut that you can trust the person you're talking to, it's going to be just not a good process for you.
Right.
And so there's that people look at, of like, do I get good vibes with that person? Can I connect with that person? And then budget's a big one. So like sometimes that's a factor in not booking a job or booking a job. I think I can kind of suss out because I'll get, I've been in consultations where it's like, tell me the most stressful thing that you've ever had, like a job interview. And I'm like, well, I'm a professional, so take it or leave it.
I do this every day. So
I would say that that's probably the person that's doing the rounds. But now, 8 years into it, I've found that, people kind of refer me based off, venues or based off of you worked with this person or I was a guest at that wedding and I saw it firsthand. And so it's a little bit of an easier sell that way. But
so you booked 12 weddings.
Booked 12 weddings.
As someone who's starting out, were you just like, what do I do now? Like how do you balance all of that and line everything up? Do you have to be like an extremely organized person? Or did you even have like moments where you were very filled with self-doubt of like, whoa, this is real? Yeah,
that's a really good question. Because 12 weddings turned into 48 that year. That was.
I hope you guys heard the audible gasp from the producer over here. So you did 48 weddings in a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
So 52. There's 52 weeks in a year, right? Okay. 52 weeks in a year. You have 48.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you do that? I mean, that's great, probably revenue-wise, but how do you do that?
I mean, that year we took on like anything, it was like our friends getting married and cool, we'll like do it for $400. Like it wasn't like crazy. Swimming in cash, But I had a business partner at the time, and then we had kind of interns and different people. So there was people supporting that. But yeah, I think it was, I don't remember being super self-doubty, but it was more like, whoa, this is happening. And like, I was ready. I was like excited for it. And I think a lot of women would probably panic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I'm like sweating thinking about that right now.
And to be clear, it wasn't like, all full scale. It was like, month ofs and different things and all that.
So when you get started like this and you start kind of picking up steam, it sounds like you kind of have to, since you didn't go to business school, like kind of learn business as you go.
Yeah. And
did you find that to be challenging or kind of it was nice to kind of learn everything firsthand?
Yeah. So I was lucky enough to have a business partner that was just doing a lot of that.
Okay.
So it was like the books and the numbers and okay, Carly, spend that money here. We can afford it.
Right.
Since I've broken off from that partnership, it's been a huge learning curve.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, there's sales tax and there's workers' comp.
Yeah.
And there's all of these things. And you're like, brain bending. You're just like, what? But I think it is teachable. And a lot of people in our industry, in the wedding events industry, are a lot of creatives. So nobody gets like how to do it. And so they just kind of usually, I mean, I'm casting a wide net, but usually don't just do it.
Yeah.
And so for me, it was important that it was like the integrity of the business was intact in that way. And so I kind of would spend evenings with my bookkeeper and I have a lawyer, so I'd ask questions and I was just like, I want to know so I can like do this right. So that was trial and error for like, I would say 2 years, and I'm still learning. But
yeah. I mean, which kind of sounds fun though. You're like your own boss.
It's so fun.
I want to be I guess I'm kind of my
You
own
are
boss.
your own boss.
I guess right now I'm kind
on your show.
I mean, I guess, but were there times like, I know as someone in YouTube and in media, I'll look at other videos and be like, man, like I wish I did that, or like that's so smart. Do you go to weddings or see other planners and you're like, damn, like that was such a good idea. Like I wish I did that.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. There's moments where there's been multiple ideas I've had or ventures I want to take, and then I have it and I've been talking with, the inner circle of my group of like, what do you think of this? And everyone's like, this is good to go, whatever. And then I start to move forward in it, and then someone pops up on Pinterest and you're like, dang it. So yeah, I mean, it happens for sure.
Yeah.
So
as of right now, are you like booked out for the year and done, or like?
Well, I mean, like for this year, we still have 4 left, and then we jump right into January. Oh my God. Yeah, but it's spread out. I mean, once you get into kind of a groove of it, you can go, okay, this person can go on the back burner, for this amount of time, and then we kind of, you have your ways of doing it. Like Wednesdays are production days for that following week's wedding, and it's all kind of organized that way. But yeah, it's sort of like you kind of just go through the stack.
Yeah.
But it does get, especially in California, our busy season is like October, November. And so, or September through November is really busy. And so we call them wed-a-get-ins if we have like more than 4 events in a weekend, where you're just like,
and you have to go to all of them, right? And be like running around?
Not always.
Okay.
So with Primary Petals, I can send a team out for that. And, and then I have people that'll do, coordinators who will do, a coordinating job, and I'll do the bigger job. And
oh my God.
But the client all knows that up front, so it's not like overwhelming for them to be like, where's Carly?
So for, I guess, people listening that want to get into this, we have a lot of like younger women listening. What would you say is kind of the hardest thing about this job?
Well, I think it's the first thing that's really hard for women is just doing it and just having the confidence. I just say jump off. Just try.
Attempt.
Yeah, attempt it. Please, we need you. I think the other thing, it's just a lot of self-doubt. I think a lot of women struggle with that.
Do you see more male wedding planners? than
No.
women? Okay, I was about to say. I was like,
But just in this industry, I would say, I'm also referring to wedding planners and photographers and, everyone that, makes an event. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think it's that. And I think the business side is just hard on people. It's like they want to create and they want to make beautiful things. But, it comes with post-event. You have to balance your books and you have to bill the client, the overages, and there's all kinds of stuff that can just be, you don't even think about, or blogging or.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like, do you have to have a social media team or do you do everything?
I've just gotten one now.
Yeah. Cause I was looking at everything. I'm like, man, this is a lot to keep up with.
Yeah. Well, my mom was down visiting because my parents are in Washington. Uh-huh. And, my mom just was like, you're way in over your head. Like, you need to get people. And so now it's, kind of help. Yeah. Like, I'm getting more towards realizing that that's a thing. I would say, to answer the question 5 minutes ago that you asked about what's hard is delegating.
Yeah, I was about to say, is it hard sometimes where you've worked so hard on a business like this and then you're like trusting someone to take on a role for you? Yeah,
I think that's just a natural. When I've talked to creatives, that's the number one thing, because if you're a creative and you're producing something amazing, people want that. And then all of a sudden you're a business and you're like, I have to scale this or I have to keep it really boutique. So I hear a lot of women just going, I don't know how to delegate and I can't figure this out. For me, it's the communication that it all full circle. Now it's communicate. Like being in communication, I can go, okay, these are the things that matter. And I would rather grow my business and delegate than hoard it personally. Yeah. And that's just how I want to grow. I've never wanted to be like, it's just me and doing this by myself. And to some people, that's just their vision. And that's great. It's not anything bad. But,
Yeah, I found the hardest part about being a manager even is giving people work to do because sometimes I'm so sensitive about it and I'm like, I really hope they do a good job. Like,
I know. I know.
Take it. Yeah. But have you ever had moments where it's like the wedding's about to happen, I guess, the next day and there's like last minute changes and last minute things that need to be done?
Yeah.
How do you deal with that?
Yeah. Okay, I would say, that's happened, but I would say that it actually happens about a week and a half before.
Okay.
Where things are we're still shifting sands a little bit. Mm-hmm. And that week, so it wouldn't be, so if it was Saturday, it would have been last week. Like that's how and it's like finalizing and then, the caterer sees the timeline and it's like way off from what they have in their notes and then you're like having to make sure everybody else knows the changes and the bride's okay and you're waiting to hear back and all of these things. But then usually the week of the wedding is pretty cool. We have a wedding on Saturday and I just emailed her and I said, anything? And she goes, we're good. But we had dealt with that, we kind of dealt with everything 2 weeks before.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we've seen a lot of things,
Have you been yelled at?
Yeah, I've been indirectly yelled at. It's never been like, you suck or, you know, but it's like the stress, you get the brunt of it. Yeah. And then it kind of makes your whole day be like, okay.
It sounds like getting ready for a giant play. Just like making sure every
Get
team.
information.
Yeah. And like the rehearsal and everything's ready. Everybody has their notes. But yeah, I want to get more into the actual process and where you want to go and where you see things going. Maybe help me plan my dream wedding.
Yes. Happy to do it.
But yeah, we're going to take a brief break and then we'll be right back. Let me take a second to talk about Care Of. So Care Of is a monthly subscription vitamin service that delivers completely personalized vitamin and supplement packs right to your door. So I actually really enjoyed this experience because you get to take a quiz all about yourself and talk about yourself, and they give you something that's really customized to you. So mine was more so on keeping me energetic, but also getting me those vitamins and minerals I don't necessarily get in my daily diet. So the quiz basically asks you about your diet, health goals, and lifestyle choices, and it only takes about 5 minutes to find out what vitamins and supplements you actually need. So your vitamins get delivered right to your door in personalized, easy-to-remember daily packs, perfect for a busy, on-the-go lifestyle. You can track all your progress with the Care of app and earn rewards when you remember to take your vitamins. Your monthly subscription box can be easily modified at any time. And vegan and vegetarian options are available to match your dietary needs, so you have no excuse. Care of's delicious, nutrient-packed Quick Stick powders can be added to your monthly delivery for an extra easy boost wherever you need it. For 25% off your first month of personalized Care of vitamins, visit takecareof.com and enter Persister. So that's takecareof.com/Persister, Persister. So I am so excited to get my Stitch Fix box in the mail. I've been tracking it and it gets here tomorrow. So I really looked at a new way to approach styling. And with Stitch Fix, you take a quiz, you talk about what you wear more of, and really how adventurous you want to get. And I think that this was a great opportunity to just try new things, especially when I'm moving to a new place, just have something to start over. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, Stitch Fix is an online personal styling service that finds and delivers clothes, shoes, and accessories to fit your body, budget, and lifestyle. All you do is go to stitchfix.com/Persister and tell them your sizes, what styles you like, and how much you want to spend on each item. You'll be paired with your very own personal stylist who will handpick 5 items to send right to your door. Then you try them on, pay only for what you love, and then return the rest. Shipping, exchanges, and returns are always free. There's no subscription required, and you can sign up to receive scheduled shipments or get your fix whenever you want. Stitch Fix's styling fee is only $20, which is applied towards anything you keep from your shipment. So get started now at stitchfix.com/Persister, and you'll get an extra 25% off when you keep all 5 items in your box. That's stitchfix.com/Persister to get started today. stitchfix.com/Persister, Persister. So it's no surprise that we think most clearly when eating nourishing, healthy, and balanced meals. But doing that every day can feel like a real chore. And I know exactly how that feels. But Sunbasket offers 18 quick, healthy recipes every week, including paleo, gluten-free, vegan, and calorie-conscious options, all delivered to your door with organic produce and clean ingredients. So you don't have to worry about the details, and eating right is never a chore again. And believe me, I really need this. Sunbasket makes it easy and convenient to cook healthy, delicious meals at home, no matter how much experience you have in the kitchen. Now you get more options than ever. So just go to Sunbasket, open the app, and pick from 18 weekly recipes. Easily cooked dishes like Buddha bowls with braised tofu, soba noodles, and cashew lime dressing. I have tried their paleo options and they are so good and keep me full. So they're paleo, gluten-free, lean and clean, vegan, Mediterranean, family options, and more. Sunbasket works with the best farms and suppliers to bring you fresh, organic produce and responsibly raised meats and seafood. Everything is pre-measured and delivered right to your door. You can get a healthy and delicious meal on the table in as little as 15 minutes. There's something for everyone, so you can be your kind of healthy. Go to sunbasket.com/Persister today to learn more and get $35 off your first order. That's sunbasket.com/Persister for $35 off. sunbasket.com/Persister, Persister. All right, welcome back to Persister. I have Carly Rae with me, and I'm going to put her in the hot seat with some questions.
It's really hot. I might need to stand up.
You can pass if you need. So let me see. Okay. What would you say is the average, a good healthy budget for a 150 person wedding?
What city are we talking?
In LA.
150 person, probably, like healthy would be like 60 to 80,000.
Oh my God.
It's so fluid though. It's so fluid because if you can omit certain large budget portions of that, like getting married in your backyard. There's
so like what's the biggest money suck out of a budget? The venue?
Well, the venue can be fluid because if you say we did a wedding on a beach, and we had to bring in all the generators, build the kitchen, all the bathrooms, the lighting, the tent, the floor. So really, when you shake all of that out, that's like 10 grand right there.
Yeah.
So really, are you saving money? Not sure. I would say catering's probably a big one. If you're gonna do like a seated dinner, plated. They're cooking on site. There's a lot of that stuff. Can be really pricey.
Chipotle or something.
Great idea. Not a bad idea.
I've seen In-N-Out trucks at people's too.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, it almost might be cheaper to have an In-N-Out truck than a seated dinner.
100%.
Okay, so I've learned I'm going to have an In-N-Out truck or Chipotle.
Perfect.
And then I've also heard from my friends that an open bar is like so expensive.
It is expensive.
Compared to just like beer or wine.
Yeah, totally. I memean, you're adding on liquor, bottles of it, So for sure. And then it'll just depend on what vendor too. If the vendor's doing a craft cocktail situation, price goes up. If you're doing just beer bottles and $2 chuck, price goes down. I mean, it's just it's a sliding scale. But I think at the end of the day, what people don't realize is that there's so much labor that goes and hours and hours and hours that it takes to throw an event. And so you're really paying for that. And you can't do it yourself. Like one person can't do it themselves. And so, I think people say, oh, well, you put wedding on the price tag and it goes up. And it's like, I would debate that.
It does seem like it takes even when I went to a wedding that was like my friend owned a summer camp, like there were people even just like having to tie ribbons on like every tiny little thing. And I'm just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Sticks forever.
Sweep, like we did a wedding in Joshua Tree a couple weeks ago, and who's going to sweep the dance floor?
Yeah.
I am. You got to pay me to do that.
In a dust cloud.
But if you don't have somebody doing that, then your dance floor, it's all that stuff. Who's going to take the trash out? All of that stuff just adds.
Oh my God. What is your favorite wedding venue that you've worked with?
Well, gosh, I worked at a lot of different venues, but we have a really awesome group of venues that is in LA. Basically, they're like super locked in and professional, and we work with them a ton. And they're the Marvamon production company. I seriously love them.
So there's a group of venues that you can use. Yeah.
They have 5 venues, and we just sort of frequent them a lot. And it's just they're very locked in. The clients are really chill. It's just a really good day every time. So I would say in the early years it was I want to get every single venue and I want to work everywhere. And now it's I just really want to work here like every weekend. I know what to expect, and I
Is it like a monopoly system where like if I came to you and I was like, I have $1 million, I want to get married at the Getty Villa. Can any wedding planner work at that venue, or is it like, well, that venue only works with certain people?
That will just depend on the contract of the venue.
Oh, okay.
So there may be, I don't know specifically that venue, but what I always tell, sometimes I'll lose out on brides because I haven't worked at their venue before. And there's this idea that that's the precursor to hiring me, when really it's the opposite. It's about communication. It's about the, wherewithal to know what to ask to get the information to actually throw an event there. So we've done events in like Canada, and I went there one time and we met everybody, saw the space, knew what to ask, and then we come in and it's like it's a flawless event because we're all on the same page. And so that I just say that that whole idea can just go out the window.
Yeah.
I think that if you have someone that's professional and knows what they're doing, you can, and ultimately the venue has to be helpful too. They're not, if they're not giving you information, then you're screwed. But
Right.
you know, it all kind of has to work together, and that's, you know, I think where a good planner can come in and go, these are the things we can do here and not do, and pull off an event.
Ruin
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
So if someone comes to you, like, what would you say when looking for a wedding planner is the most important things to ask? You know, because like I feel like I wouldn't even know where to begin.
Yeah. I think if you get a good vibe from that person, I go off of that. You know, it's like, are we able to connect as people first? I think some of the stuff I get asked, I don't know is necessary. But I think when I have a consultation and people go, okay, how'd you get started? You know, what's your story? I think you could probably suss out a person based off of that. But like, I'll get people ask me like, how do you handle stress? What was a time in your life where you're stressed? I'm like, I mean, I'll tell you.
It does sound like a job interview.
Yeah, but I think I will argue that it goes both ways. Like, it's got to be a partnership, and if it's not, and it's this bride is hiring me, and I'm just, you know, little me making it happen. You know, I want to sit down to have dinner, and I want to see your house, and I want to know how I can advocate for you. And, you know, if you're not open to that, then it's, you know, tricky to know how to plan your wedding.
Yeah, like when you meet someone, can you tell if they're going to be like a bridezilla and you're like, I don't want to talk to
Totally. Totally.
Can you fire them or they can only fire you? Like, can you be like, this isn't working out?
It has happened in the industry for sure. You know, it like in 8 years, you know, you run into things. But like, I mean, at the end of the day, you can kind of look back and go, oh yeah, that was the red flag. Noted. And so when that red flag happens in the initial consultation, you can go,
this isn't going to work.
You know, I don't run into that too much.
Yeah.
Thank God. You know, I'd hate to run into it so much. But what happens, I think, sometimes is you get the client's cool, and then the family dynamics. You know, somebody has their hat in the ring after the booking, and you're like, okay, now I have to navigate that. But, you know, talking with your client, having that open communication of how do you want me to navigate this with such and such person in your family? And, you know, do you have the final say or does mom?
Yeah.
And if mom pulls me aside, how do you want me to advocate for you? And I think clients really appreciate that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Because I was wondering if you have these moments where, I mean, I think especially as women too, a lot of us have a hard time being confrontational.
Yeah.
And telling people or being afraid that we'll let people down. So
yeah,
few and far between when you've had those situations where you just don't think it's going to work out. Do you just be as honest as possible, or is there a way that you prefer to let them know that you guys aren't the right fit for each other?
I haven't run into it too much where it's a personality conflict. I think that sort of susses itself out as, you know, they understand that maybe it's not a good fit. But what I've had to do is when it comes to budget, where it's like, I know you want to work with me, but your budget has to increase by double. Can you do that?
Can you do that?
And I hate that. I hate being that person because I don't want someone to feel like what they have isn't enough.
Right.
Because you can make anything work, you know? I mean, at the end of the day, you can make it happen with creativity and, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But what I'll do in consultations is just sort of break it down and go, well, if I take this much, it's like a math equation, like spelling it out. Okay, if I take this much from this budget, then you have this much left. And you're telling me that your value is this farm to table, beautiful dinner for 200 people. But you know, the venue that you want requires us to kitchen build. And that kitchen build is X amount of dollars. And all of a sudden, there's your budget. Or you're over your budget. And so ultimately, I'll just say, hey, I want to work with you. If there can increase here, cool. But, I won't set you up for failure to earn $1. Mm-hmm. So.
Which I think is very honorable, though.
I try.
Because sometimes even in sales in general, because both my parents are in sales, it's like, I don't want to come off as this person that just wants to sell you something. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that I get nervous now when I go to different places that people are just trying to upsell me or trying to get $1 out of me. So it's refreshing to have someone be like, look, I'm not trying to nickel and dime you here. It's just, it literally won't work.
Well, it's the reality of it.
Yeah.
And I also look at it as it's going to stress you out later when I'm coming to you in your first meeting going, you need double your budget, because it's going to happen. And, or you're mad at me because I didn't tell you. So it's my job to be a straight shooter with you as a client or a pre-client.
So this is a question that I've always wondered, but you don't have to answer it. But can you tell by meeting the couple if they're going to last or not?
Oh my gosh. What?
I've always wondered that if there are these red flags where you're like, I don't, like, because you see so many different dynamics. Mm-hmm. I always wonder if, like, wedding planners, or even, like, I did wedding videography, and my friend and I could kind of tell, like, which couple really, like, had this amazing chemistry and which ones didn't, because we're basically looking at their faces all day.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if you can tell.
Yeah. I think I might be able to. Okay, have you seen the Wedding Planner J-Lo where they're like, she has Honestly Love You as the song. It's going to be like 3 months or something. She can like tell by their first dance song. I mean, I can tell. I think I'm with you. Like, you can kind of tell if there's this spark in chemistry. Very rarely do I run into, a groom that's like super disrespectful. That's happened. And I'm like, okay, ugh. Like, ugh.
Yeah, how do you handle that?
Well, I mean, I've deferred to just not saying. It's not my job.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've deferred to that. I don't know, because I've only had a couple clients that I know of not, make it. But I think I'm in the phase with clients that are all having kids. So I get to kind of be like, oh my gosh, you're right.
Wow.
So,
that's so fun.
I haven't run into it yet. And I don't know if that's because I'm just early in the process. I don't know. Maybe
like 20 years down the line, you're like, oh, I helped them get married.
Yeah. Yeah, people always joke. They're like, when you plan my second wedding, I'm like, okay, maybe that's a red flag.
Yeah, maybe you should be a wedding planner specializing in second weddings.
Oh my gosh, could you even imagine? I think that probably exists.
Probably. Wait, there was another question. Oh, so in terms of people that, have a little bit of a smaller budget, is there something you would say is always the most important thing to invest in? Like, maybe you can't get X, but always, like, never go cheap on
Yes.
Y.
I have two. One is a coordinator. 100%. Someone that can, like, make your vision happen. So if you were planning it yourself and then you pass it off to someone day of and they're setting your guest book table and your seating chart and all that stuff, world of difference, because you have someone while you're getting your hair and makeup done that isn't a family member asking you questions, that knows and has all the resources to like execute the event. So that's huge.
So is that the lady that's like running around with the earpiece, like yelling at people?
Yeah, also known as myself.
Okay, I need that.
Like, hands down. The second thing that I won't even touch a wedding if it's not there is a wait staff. So people that are setting the tables and bussing the tables the whole night, serving the meal. I literally will not do a wedding if it's like, because I have been at a 400 person wedding where I am bussing it.
You're the only person there? Like,
yeah.
Oh my god.
And that was early years, and now it's just like, that's just 100%. So if you have those two things, you have people that are like cleaning up the event. People don't think about that. You don't think that you have to clean the event after you do.
Oh my god.
So who's going to do that? Those people.
Yeah, it's like the tiny details that you never even think about.
Yeah, think about it as like a dinner party. Like, have you ever thrown a baby shower at your house, or bridal shower?
Yeah, it's insane.
where you're like up at 5 and you're making scrambled eggs or whatever. And you're cleaning until 4.
Yeah.
Times that by 1,000, and then everybody's like, I don't need any of that. It's like, yes, you do.
Yeah.
And you're the one that's getting married.
Yeah, you don't want to be stressed out. You're kind of like paying to be relaxed.
It's worth every penny. It's worth every penny.
So, well, I had 2 more questions. Maybe we have time. Okay, one quick question is there a wedding trend that you say is kind of like overdone? Or can you say that?
Yeah.
Or a wedding trend that you love that's underrated?
I love a black tie wedding.
I do too. They're
love
so fancy and nice.
They're so fancy. In LA, it's harder because everyone's more chill, the beachside kind of thing. But yeah, I love a good black tie wedding. Classic.
Would a black tie wedding be more expensive necessarily than like a beach wedding, or not really?
Maybe, maybe not.
Yeah.
It's just going to depend on where, and there's so many factors. I don't mean like the Ritz and everyone's, but I mean like just stylistically, everyone's, keep it classy, timeless. And I wouldn't have said that 8 years ago. It was like, let's do confetti. And now it's like, let's keep it timeless, So yeah, I think at this point, my style is classy, timeless with a bit of fun in it, as opposed to crazy and then sort of timeless.
Yeah. I like that too.
Yeah.
And then my final question would be, how do wedding planners choose their wedding planner when they're getting married?
Oh my gosh.
Or are wedding planners to the point where they're like, I don't even care, just like get me to a courthouse?
I think a lot of people do the courthouse route. But yeah, I think now it's less about the Instagram famed, wedding planner. And it's like, I've met people that could just kick ass and they're just on it with the emails, and they can just take and run and do it and be girl boss about it. Those are the people that I would pick. Yeah.
So speaking of girl boss, I feel like your business has grown exponentially in a relatively short amount of time. So where do you see yourself going and expanding or working on?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of twofold. I have just started dabbling in like the production commercial, like television and film, which was so fun. Like I had the best time.
Yeah. So you for designing and stuff?
Yeah, like I had a great time with that. I think right now we're kind of expanding into the New York, Canada market for like weddings and doing shoots out there. And that's been very specific because I've had clients in New York that are like, we need your style out here. And so then it's like, okay, let's try it. So there's been kind of trial and error. But I think with Primary Petals too, I'm working on some stuff that's going to launch here soon. So I think I'm on, the next phase is just going to be determined on how those things work. But yeah, I think expanding globally, I guess. Can I say globally if it's Canada?
Yeah, do it.
Expanding
around the globe.
Around Canada. The globe, sort of. North America still. And just taking like cool opportunities as they come with like film and TV and different things. And, yeah.
I'm sure there's overlap that you see.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think there is for sure.
So where can people find you?
Oh my gosh, I'm on Instagram like every day. My screen time says that I'm on Instagram like 8 hours a day.
Oh my God.
It's bad. Like build your business, Carly, instead of being sitting on your phone.
So you're what is
so it's at Carly Rae Weddings, and then Primary Petals is at Primary Petals.
Okay.
And yeah, we're online.
And if somebody is getting married that hears this podcast, how can they contact you?
My website. Yep. CarlyRaeWeddings.com.
Perfect.
Yeah. Easy.
Yay.
I'll get it right away in the inbox.
I want you to help me get married.
Let's do it.
Thank you so much for answering all my childish questions and being here. And I feel like I've been inspired to take a more chill approach to business after talking to you.
Good.
It seems like you're just able to kind of take everything in stride, It's nothing's worth crying over, you know?
Yeah, sometimes it is. But I mean, at the end of the day, like, slow and steady,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Take it little by little.
Cool. Well,
Thank you for having me.
oh, thank you. Is this your first podcast?
It's my first podcast.
Yeah. See, she dreamed it and she's doing it.
Do it, guys. I'm telling you. Say it out loud. Write it down. It will happen. Jump off a cliff.
Safely.
Wear a parachute.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.